and tractor power, we feature Mtra Monster Truck Racing. From the Allen County Fairgrounds in Lima, Ohio, it's the Spring 4-Wheel Jamboree National. Lima, Ohio, the first gathering point for the monster trucks as they chase the brand new series of the Pin to Point series. They're going after $60,000 at the end of this rainbow. There's been a lot of changes take place since we had a last time to get together. One of the major changes is last year's world champion, Dan Runte, who drove the Bigfoot Power Wheels to that national championship, is not in that truck. He's in another truck. It's out of the same stable of Bob Chandler's. He'll be driving the original Bigfoot Blue in competition this year. Runte says he can win that championship. That's one of the changes. Another change that I'm really happy to be involved with is a new co-host on the show out of Central Iowa. Dave Reef is going to be working with me this year, and he's over in the pit area right now.
Well, thanks, Army. I definitely look forward to working with you this season. We've already touched on driver changes, but how about a new truck? Behind me, you see the WCW Hulkster Mobile, driven by Eric Meager this season. Comes out of the Bob Chandler Racing stable and features a beautifully crafted GTS fiberglass body and a big old Ford Hemi engine. Now, Steve Grissom has already taken the WCW sponsorship into the winner's circle, NASCAR and Daytona back in February. Well, Bob Chandler says with Eric Meager, they'd love to add a Pin to Points belt to this Hulkster belt.
Well, as you see, Eric Meager did qualify the Hulkster in the number 2 spot, but the big story is what happened in round 1 to our number 1 qualifier.
And it certainly is a big surprise as the Barefoot Dodge of Fred Schaefer out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois, found himself on the line with Dan Patrick's Samson Chevrolet. The Barefoot gets the jump, but watch Samson in the far lane. He muscles his way past the Dodge.
Well, Fred, when you're on top, there's only one way to go, and these guys, they were just flat coming after you. Knew he was going to try to push the tree on you.
Yeah, I did, Army, and you know, horsepower's not been the problem here. Is what I got to do is get the truck straight and get a handle between the cars, and it got loose on me right then. I had to get out of it. You seen by my qualifying time, we got him covered pretty good by horsepower.
And to add insult to injury, Schaefer's time not even quick enough to get a fast loser spot in round number 2. Speaking of new faces, new truck on the circuit, the Hercules of Tim Tesmer. Tesmer is a 9-year veteran of monster truck racing out of Avon, Ohio, and he made a good showing for himself in his debut on the Jamboree circuit with this round 1 win over Brian Welch's moving violation. Tesmer with a 531 ET.
Speaking of other new faces, Todd Frolick, the new Dodge teammate for Fred Schaefer, comes out in the new black Dodge Rampage. The paint scheme was new, but Alan Pizzo in round 1 ran him hard. The Dodge takes a win. Pizzo, though, showing he can run up top of this field. Second round pairings come out. Samson going against Boogie Van, Executioner Bigfoot, Hercules against Rampage, and Hulkster against Overkill.
Well, they're getting the Hulkster ready for round number 2. We'll check out that racing action when we come back.
Welcome back to Allen County Fairgrounds in Lima, Ohio for the 11th annual Big A Auto Parts Spring 4-Wheel Jamboree Nationals. I'm Army Armstrong along with Dave Reef, and we're checking out some of the candy apple and chrome over in the show and shine area. Dave, what have you found?
We kid a lot in this show about how the tough trucks want to fly like the monster machines. Well, down here in the show and shine area, it's no different. We've actually found a monster truck wannabe. Lee Atkins out of South Webster, Ohio, brings his 1979 Ford Bronco Ranger XLT to the show. Ohio bumper laws say it's not street legal, but after an Ohio snowstorm, it sure comes in handy. The truck features a custom-built straight frame with a 429 Cobra jet power plant. The 4-bolt main block has twin Predator carbs strapped to the top, giving the engine more than 500 horsepower. Toss on some military rear ends, giving the truck front and rear steering. Lee says it's built better than Ford Tough. He says it's 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
That'd be a good name for a country song. Well, here's a wounded monster truck, Pam Voders, going back under the tow rope now. In round 2, she was a fast loser, got back in this thing, narrowly takes a win over Dan Patrick. As a matter of fact, her 509 was just good for a .04 margin of victory, but she hurt it in taking a win and literally bounces over the finish line.
Well, it certainly was close, and right now they're thrashing away in the pits, trying to get the Boogie Van back into this thing. Let's send it down to Army, who's standing with Pam Voders.
Rampage takes on the Hulkster. Well, as you can tell, Pam Voders and her crew are in a thrash. Update us real quick.
Well, I got down there at the line. It was like 290, almost 300 degrees. It was real hot, too much for me to, you know, bring it back and everything. So I wanted to get it towed back, but I really didn't even know who won the round or anything like that. I was just worried about the motor.
And a little exercise to boot, jogging over to the interview. Well, on the line right now, Tim Tesmer in Hercules, Todd Froelich in the Dodge Rampage. A couple of new kids on the block, both posting impressive round 1 wins, Army.
Yeah, but both of them know, and they got to make a name for themselves. They got to start doing it now. Todd takes over a real pressure seat in the Dodge Rampage. There's a lot of pressure for these guys to start winning out of the Fred Schaefer camp. Meanwhile, Tesmer, he's a privateer driving this Chevrolet-powered vehicle. They move into the lanes. They're ready to go. The starter's ready.
Rick Rice out of Elkhart, Indiana, getting ready to give him the green. We're off.
Got a good run into no man's lane. The Dodge muscles his way out of that far lane to take the win, it looks like to me. Tesmer ran him hard, but the Dodge looks like he will take the win. Yeah, 5:16 ET for the Dodge camp. On the other side of the ledger, the Hulkster comes out. Now, the Hulkster, yeah, the same Hulkster all you kids like, teamed up with a winning combination out of the Bob Chandler shop. You're going to play the game, you might as well step up and play with the big boys. They got Eric Meager as a driver. Meanwhile, in the other lane, the overkill truck, Kirk Dabney, a privateer, knows that he's got his work cut out for him. We'll send it down to Dave with Todd Froelich.
Well, Todd, with the absence of Fred Schaefer, you're the only Mopar moving on. Good close run there. How'd it feel?
The truck's feeling great. This is my first year out here. I'm getting used to the track, getting used to a brand new truck here. It's a carbon copy of Fred's, and I think we're going to be in there in the end.
You got to be there at the end if you're going to win. Truck closest to us, not that lucky last year, demolished in this race. I wonder if he's worried about a little deja vu.
Meager a little sideways coming over the jump, but he hits the line first at a 494. So your second quick qualifier moving on to round number 3 as Kirk Dabney's extreme overkill is eliminated.
Last pairing in the second round is Chevrolet, the executioner of the Hall Brother Racing Team. Mark Hall doing the driving out of Champaign, Illinois. The big story is how he got to the second round. He put away another Chevrolet in the first round. Paul Schaefer was that victim.
That's right, the executioner and the Monster Patrol. Pretty equal coming off the launch, but take a look there on the outside lane. Mark Hall with a 534. He's moving on to round number 2 here, but he's going up against the defending Penda Points champion in Dan Runne. He and the Bigfoot crew have been very, very busy this afternoon. No motor problems, just a new starter needed on the Bigfoot Ford. He and his crew, hard at work. They got him ready, and he's back on the line.
Meanwhile, sitting in the other lane, the guy, like the little train, he thinks he can beat the big guys. Far lane, Ford, Power, Big Blue, Bigfoot. Hall waits in the near lane. There's Sage.
Big Blue. Dan Runne in the Ford does it again. A 4.80. A very good run for Dan Runne.
Dan Runne muscling up, showing that he can do exactly what he says. He's talking the talk and walking the walk. Boogie Man advances. Bigfoot, Rampage, and the Hulkster into the next round, Dave.
And if the Boogie Van's going to make the semifinals, they're going to have to get that shoe and that crew member out of that car. They're going to move on if they can get it done. But let's check in with Army, who's with Dan Runne.
Dan, a 480 on a hard run. Those Hall brothers are coming around on you.
They're coming around hard. You know, they're running the clutch. There's a lot of people going to clutches. We're still running a good old Ford C6. We owe a lot to that. Ford and the Firestone tires are working well here today. I can't say enough about that. We're just taking one run at a time. We're getting a little rattled here. We've had a couple little problems, and we'll get them straightened out and be in the finals.
The fans are sure having a good time here. So are we. Come on back. It's semifinal action when we return. Welcome back to Lima, Ohio, where the love affair with these four-wheelers starts at an early age, and so does the ability to get out of the sun, or else, hey, just shed the shirt and go on a little four-wheel wagon ride here at the Allen County Fairgrounds. The four-wheel jamborees are part of the Special Events Performance Series featuring a weekend of four-wheel fun. There's the manufacturer's midway and all the chrome and beauty of the show and shine area. Contact the Special Events Promotion Company to find out more about the jamborees and other Special Events Performance Series events. Well, moving now to semifinal action, we find Todd Froelich in the Dodge Rampage going up against that Hulkster vehicle of Eric Meager.
Also, you're looking at Ford, Dodge, but you're looking at corporate America. They realize they put their name on a winning vehicle. What they say, you win on Sunday, you sell on Monday. Well, there's Ford's representative, the old Hulkster, and in the other lane is the man in black in this sport, the Dodge. And Todd's making a name for himself. Eric Meager doing a good job driving the Ford camp. You're looking at the evolution of the sport, Dave.
Well, Eric Meager certainly got a good man in his corner in the Hulkster. He's already got a title belt without even running a race, but he's going to have to go hard here against Todd Froelich in the Dodge Rampage. Pretty equal off the start, but the Hulkster gets the job done over the second series of jumps. A 488 ET as Eric Meager moves on.
But the big story is the Dodges will not be back. They fired all their shots. They missed their mark. He's going to be going into the trailer. One lady that did make it, though, the Boogie Band crew, they are going to be making it back. As a matter of fact, the black cloud stays over the Dodge team, we understand, Dave.
And it looks like Todd Frolick may have hurt his truck as well. The Dodge Rampage going to need a tow back to the pit area. Meanwhile, we're up for our next race. Bigfoot and the Boogie Van. But before then, Armies with Eric Meager.
Well, you know you're going to be in the finals. You came to this sport with this sponsorship hoping to win a world championship. You might just be able to be the lead guy in this points chase when you leave here.
Hopefully we will be. When WCW Motorsports jumped on as a sponsor this year, we knew they were serious about motorsports. They're involved in other sports as well. Shows you how far this sport's really coming. I'd love to take a win here at the first race and then ultimately get that championship at the end of the year.
Does it make any difference who you go against in a final? It's either going to be Bigfoot or Boogie Van.
Both are tough competitors. If I had my choice, geez, it'd be a tough one. I'd like to race Dan, but Pam, she's a tough contender too. This is going to be a good race right here.
And it's going to be an all-Ford race as Pam Potter's in the Ford Aerostar. She made a couple of finals last year in that van, Army.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, her husband, who's the crew chief on this vehicle, they put a real good motor program together. They know they can step up and run with anybody. They got just as much horsepower as anybody that get in the lane next to them, Dave.
And, of course, the Ford's debuting the new F-150 body style. As you can see, Dan Runney coming to the line. Eric Meager drove this truck to the opening win at the RCA Dome, but now Dan Runney takes over as Rick Rice gets set to turn these guys loose.
Drilled him on the tree, cut the tree down on Runney, but Runney's horsepower pulls him back on the other end with a 495 win. It was win or lose at no man's land. Runney got it down on the ground first. The replay will show you she moves quicker. Then when they go over the first jump, right here is where Runney can really put some horsepower down. Now he dials the horsepower in, pulls the trigger over the second jump, and literally leaps to the end. So Runney will advance in that F-150. Dave's with him right now.
The defending champion steps out of the Bigfoot Ford. Dan Runney, you made the finals, but another slow start. You had to get her off in no man's land.
Yeah, it did. You know, it's a rough track to drive. It's getting rougher. The ruts are getting bigger. You know, it's just a hard track to start to play now, just because it is getting looser. The Ford Bigfoot's doing fine. We put both our trucks in the final, so we're real happy.
Bigfoot is the most dominant truck ever in monster truck racing. But over in the show and shine area, there's one guy who cleans up every time he shows up at a Jamboree. We've seen the 79 Jeep before on Trucks and Tractor Power. It's based out of Detroit, Michigan. And look at all the chrome. Twin supercharged chrome. Complete underpan. Candy apple painted all the way through. As a matter of fact, by the end of the show, this young man had won 4 national categories, such as Best Supercharger, Best Conversion, Best Engine Compartment, and Best Engineering. Congratulations, Rick.
Well, he's certainly won a lot of hardware, but some guys who strap it on each and every day here that don't get a lot of hardware are these guys. The tough truck competition. Stephen Bishop, the Noah's Ark machine. This guy's a self-proclaimed hippie, and look at him go at it.
Hey, I like the guy. What can you say?
And listen to the crowd. They certainly like it, too. Watch as he come back for the big jump here. Stephen Bishop always goes for some big airtime. Oh, ow. Whoa. Ouch, that thing really flies.
Well, we see what the white 150 would do. We're going to go with the red F250. It'll be Dave Limber. Now, Dave did not attack the track in the first half. He was putting all his marbles in a basket. He was waiting for the very end. He was going to have the crowd standing and cheering as he got ready to go over the final jump. However, if you'll keep an eye on the front of the truck, you'll notice the drive shaft broke. He could not air it out. Whoa.
Got a little bit of air coming over that hill, and when it came back down, the front end grabbed and just tore the pinion right out of it.
Yeah, but what a mess getting this tire unstuck. You know, some of the greatest minds in tire unstickiness were on hand trying to get this squared away, but I think this did qualify him for the Olympic javelin catching competition. Well, the volunteer club, very important at the Jamboree, is helping us out, but when it was all over, the tire was out, and the tire wrap was on, and we were ready to move on to tough truck competition, Dave.
And the tough truck's not just limited to the four-wheel machines. Take a look at Steve Sanquinetta in this 1976 Buick Skylark. I don't think it was designed to fly just like this. Very high center of gravity. And take a look at the big bounce coming off of the big jump. Oh, hey, got to run over that tire. Oh, certainly a good run by Steve Sanquinetta. Tough trucks, lots of fun.
Hey, for all you deadheads, Dwayne Ainsworth, a Jerry Garcia fan for the rest of his life. Oh, Jerry, be proud of you. The Grateful Dead theme. Keeping in mind, one of the Grateful Dead's great song was just called Truckin'. And that's exactly what Dwayne did.
Oh, that sounds like that hurts.
Truckin' is blues away.
Oh, he certainly is. Hey, have you rolled your Chevy lately, Army?
No, and I hope I really won't.
Well, we're going to flip some burgers. Man, I'm sure getting hungry watching all this tough truck competition. We're coming right back to the Allen County Fairgrounds in Lima, Ohio.
I think this one's done.
Welcome back to the Jamboree as fun and games continue throughout the day on the Midway at the 11th annual Big A Auto Parts Spring 4-Wheel Jamboree Nationals. But right now, what they've come to see is about to happen. It's almost time for the finals as we tour the Midway.
That's right, it's our Monster Truck Showdown featuring nothing but Fords. Eric Meager going up against Dan Runny and Army. These trucks are very even.
Yeah, you can call this the Battle of the Blue Oval Bunch. They both come out of the Bob Chandler operation. Even it's kind of like the same thing the NASCAR teams have when you have a two-car team. They have a two-truck team. Everybody's separate.
And as even as we are, maybe we'll get a chance to see who's the better driver. But how about lane conditions? Meager has the choice. He's picked the fast one. It's the left lane. He's tossed Runny into the right one.
Yeah, but that may not be such a big deal. You got to remember the guy driving the Hulkster used to drive the blue truck. He knows how it's going to react, so he'll know how to adjust this truck. I think we're going to have a real even Steven race.
Rick Rice getting ready to give him the green light. It's our final. Dan Runny and Eric Meager. Very even off the line, even closer at the finish.
I tell you, I couldn't call it. It was literally a battle of the Blue Oval Bunch. Who's going to be the winner? We'll wait for the official word to come down. I still can't call it.
I don't know. We might have
there
to take
it is.
a look.
Where do we get running with the 482? That's an awesome run.
And awesome is the understatement. As you can see, as we take a look again, watch the start. Both Meager and Runny lightning quick on the reaction time. They keep the back wheels on the ground through the second set of jumps, but watch Meager. He hits it first, but it's Runny who gets the wheels on the ground, gets the extra bite. He carries it all the way to the finish line. Army's down with Dan Runny, our Penda Points winner.
By 2,000ths of a second, you're the man that takes a win, but I got to be real honest with these folks. You came back to the pit area and asked us who won. It must have been dead close down there.
It was real close, you know, like that last race against Pam, you never pay any attention when you're racing somebody like that on who's on the other lane. You know, I had time I had to make up last round. I knew Eric was going to run tough. He ran the left lane all day. I'd been running the left lane. He threw me in the right lane. I had to slow her time to time before. I didn't have a choice. The guys, I mean, a great crew, you know, take you back, pick you up, and tell you, hey, get your head together and let's go racing. Bigfoot Ford won it.
And on the strength of that win, Bigfoot Racing Team and Dan Runny, your points leader, is Eric Meager is second. The Dodge of Todd Froelich is third, followed by the Boogie Van of Palm Vatters. A whole host of folks tied at number 5. Army's down with Eric Meager, our runner-up.
Boy, it must have been close down there.
Oh, it had to be real close. I think he got the whole shot on me, but it looked like we were making up some ground on him. Apparently, we just ran out of ground there.
He told us that he knew you were going to be tough on the tree, plus you put him in the lane he wasn't used to, so he was going to have to get it on the start line and try to hold it off to the other end.
Yeah, exactly. We knew we had lane choice. It plays a little head games with him, but that's in any competition here. So we came out. He knew we were going to run hard. We also knew he was going to run hard. We're just trying to please all of our sponsors out here.
Well, Army, I think we're going to see a corporate battle all year, but it was all Ford in round number 1.
Yeah, but the season's off. The Penda Points chase is on, and it's going to be a great year for racing the big trucks.
And I think we're going to see these guys all season long dueling it out. Bigfoot and the new WCW Hulkster.
Yeah, but don't count on Dodge and Chevrolets out either.
Hey, we certainly hope you had a lot of fun. We did. For Army Armstrong, I'm Dave Reed. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power.